Welcome to Wash Talk, the Carwash Podcast. I'm your host, Rich DiPaolo, and joining me today we have NRCC 2025 show co-chairmen Chris Kubarek and Walt Hartl. Chris and Walt, so great to see you both.
Thanks for
Yeah, thanks for joining me. We're almost in the phase of getting ready for this NRCC show happening in a few months here. And always an exciting event happening in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Today, we're going to discuss the planning of NRCC 2025, which is scheduled for October 6th through the 8th at the Atlantic City Convention Center. So, gentlemen, what were the key goals and priorities that you organizers had in mind when developing the 2025 NRCC schedule of events? Do you have a theme this year? If so, what is it and why?
Well, Rich, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here to talk about the NRCC show. We got away from kind of the theme concept a couple of years ago, and we felt it kind of limited our opportunities, kind of being stuck in one theme, if you will. So we spent a lot of time as a volunteer board, kind of finger on the pulse, talking to operators, talking to manufacturers, distributors, suppliers about things that are happening in the industry. And trying to piece together the best educational plan that we can to meet the needs that are out there. And their industry is changing. It's like everything else. So we want to stay on the kind of the cutting edge. And I think one advantage that we have is that our mission has always been to provide a great show, not only for the operators, but also for the manufacturers, suppliers, and vendors. And we kind of see this as a partnership. So we work really hard with both groups to try and develop content that really kind of reaches across the board at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to keep touching on that, we did add partner up with Clean Right this year, make sure we're covering needs of self-serve IBA operators. They feel like this group's kind of been left in the wayside with everything going on in the market. It's been more of a express exterior focus. So we had a lot of feedback from our operators saying that, they needed more of this content. And so we did partner up with them, and we're having a terrific seminar that they're hosting.
One thing,
we're going to do back to back. We'll have two seminars kind of geared right towards our self-serve customers. And Chris is absolutely right. It's one of those markets, one of those parts of our market that I don't want to say we're really forgotten about, but there's been so much talk and so much hype around the express model and tellers and all the new technology that, we kind of didn't prioritize them as much as we should have. And we heard from our members and that was an area we needed to touch on. So we spent a lot of time this year, worked with the folks from Clean Right who are really easy to work with. We're happy to help us kind of create a set of programs for that market, for those operators. We're really excited about that. It's a kind of a new content for us that we haven't had in the last couple of years.
It's great to hear that you're shining, an extra light on those wash segments, because as you mentioned, the conveyor segment has sucked up so much oxygen in terms of attention and coverage in the market. So it's great to see NRCC is focusing on those maybe under-focused areas of the industry that are also very important. And I noticed that you're drawing inspiration not only from the domestic car wash market, but one thing that stood out to me when I looked over the schedule of events in the virtual tour session is a couple of international or overseas locations. What kind of attendees expect to learn from these global operations during the virtual tour session?
Well, you want this one or you want me to take it?
Go for it, Chris. I'll chime in.
We started that several years ago, and it did start local, and we kept expanding our reach, trying to get a unique perspective from all these different operators. We've always been an industry of innovation and change, and our longtime operators have always been looking to see what's that one little detail I'm missing. And by doing that virtual tour, these are people that might not want to travel across the world or across the country to come to the NRCC or, have a representative there for us. So this is an easy way for us to outreach to them and a good way for us to expand, our knowledge base. So, again, we started this several years ago, and it's just been expanding and growing ever since. And we've gotten a really positive feedback from everybody who's attended. I think it was one of our most popular seminars we had at the show. So, I mean, it started at an hour. I think now we're up to 3.5 hours, and we've kind of had to scale that back a little bit because it's a little bit long for people to sit there. But everybody wants to, they're very excited about it. So it's been tremendous.
Yeah, operators, I mean, they love to kick the tires. And, I've been around this business a little while, and I always love the car wash tours because you get to see how different operators do different things. And Chris is right. We started out kind of local and through the wonders of the internet, we've had the ability to kind of go further out. I met some folks from Bob's Autowash, actually the car wash convention, and talked a little bit about what we do, and they were excited to be part of it. And I think it just might be an interesting opportunity to see how other people do things. There's lots of different options. There's lots of different ways. And sometimes you got to look outside the box. And I think this is a great opportunity. Tom Hoffman Jr. has done a fantastic job. He's hosted it for the last several years. He does a great job editing the content and asking follow-up questions. We're fortunate to have representatives from each one of these locations to walk us through the virtual tour. Chris is right. It's the last few years, it's been standing room only. And I think it's a great opportunity for operators to come out and to see things and locations that they normally wouldn't get an opportunity to do. So I'm pretty excited about this year, and I'm super excited about the Bob's Autowash, and hopefully I'll get to see it in person someday.
Yeah, before we hit record on this interview, Chris and I were kind of discussing this unique nature of this car wash business, how successful operators are so willing to open their doors and show what they're doing to be successful. Don't mind sharing that information with other operators. So operators, I'm sure, can find inspiration anywhere, and those virtual tour sessions are a great place to do so. So, gentlemen, when people often wonder what's the reason I should attend a trade show to begin with? What's the return on investment? I always narrow it down to 3 pillars, right? It's the trade show floor, which you're going to see the latest and greatest equipment, and then the networking opportunities that you have at the show. And then really that last pillar is the educational offerings that these shows bring to the forefront. So how did you go about selecting the educational topics for this year's event, such as building a strong website and understanding membership trends? Why are these topics especially relevant to Northeast operators today?
Chris, you want to take the marketing piece? That's in your wheelhouse.
So the marketing, let's face it, the majority of us in the business, we're not some huge behemoth. It's with the never-ending financial backing. In marketing, it's for most of us, it's we have no knowledge base, and it's an ever-evolving, especially now with AI models. It's really a unique perspective, but being able to track and take what you're learning from the data to know how to better apply it to your customer to get that value is tremendous. And we have to stay ahead of the curve on that to not only keep ourselves competitive, but to keep the light focused on everything we've built up in this industry over the past, 10, 15 years. And the people that we've selected, presenters, we kind of give them free reign on how they want to run their presentations. But having that knowledge base like Mel Ollinger, and, long background in the industry, she has great energy, great insight into the aspects of marketing. It's going to be a fantastic seminar for her to run. But again, these are all things that, we generally don't like to think about, but, we kind of have to. So the other one was Kyle Doyle, really diverse background again. And these are people that this is what they've decided to focus their attention on. And they really help operators kind of weed through the thicket of, what should I be focused on? Facebook ads. What are we doing? Or, television, radio. All these things that we came from that have changed into, social media. And so these people have just tremendous knowledge base, and again, great to listen to. So,
and I think we're really fortunate in the fact that the operators on the board, they're fantastic folks to work with, and they come up with a lot of these topics, things that they want to know about, and they're close to the industry. They're reaching out, talking to people. And when we talk about the concepts and the educational programs, they sort of grow organically. Somebody has an idea, hey, I think this would be interesting. And then somebody knows something or has seen something, and it just sort of evolves from there. And Chris is absolutely right. When you talk about the marketing plans and the programs, you think about the instant gratification of being able to type something into AI or chat or Google, and you get information immediately. We're no different than any other business. Consumers, they're searching for great car washes, great experiences, and how do you maximize that opportunity? So I think the marketing program is always a big hit for us. And again, Chris is right. It's an area that a lot of us don't have the time or the resources to focus on. So we want to find professionals that can help us maximize the opportunities that are out there.
You do such a great job, Walt, every year of bringing in the associations, the regional state associations that rotate to host this event each year. Do such a great job planning and getting the top minds in the industry to come and share their knowledge. But how do you think attendees will benefit from hearing from diverse voices outside of our industry, like Colonel Pilar McDermott and Gary Ridge?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll talk about Colonel Pilar for a second. McDermott, and, I had the opportunity to attend a Thayer Leadership Institute program at West Point, premier military academy. And some of the content that they had there it was just amazing. And the more we sat and listened and had an opportunity to visit with folks outside of our industry, I realized that kind of business is business. And people in the military, they're having the same situations that we are. People that run, pool stores or grocery stores or whatever. It's all about people. It's about customer interactions, about people. It's about the way you execute on the front line. So the session that Colonel McDermott is going to do is really geared towards our management team. And she's going to be talking about her experiences, leading an infantry or leading a artillery brigade in the Army, and the way to have difficult conversations. You want to talk about difficult conversations. I mean, that's a tough one. And I think she's going to have some just incredible experiences to be able to relate to our managers. And these are young men and women that are in some cases managing locations and properties for the first time. And giving them resources to somebody like this through the Thayer Institute at West Point is just an amazing opportunity. And Gary, it's going to be hard to top Will Guidara from last year, and Unreasonable Hospitality is just a phenomenal book. And I think he did an amazing job. I think Gary's going to be right up there. I mean, Gary is great. And you're going to learn from somebody that figured out a way to instill culture into a behemoth like WD-40. If he can do it in a company like WD-40, and he's going to teach us the lessons that he used to create that culture. And WD-40, I mean, you probably have a can of it in your garage. I know I got several. I know Chris has got a whole toolbox full of it. But to turn a company like that and to instill that kind of culture where employees feel secure and they can collaborate and they can execute at a high level and make that repeatable is remarkable. And I think it's going to be a great lesson for anybody attending. I mean, where else you get an opportunity to see a retired colonel from West Point and see the head of a major company like WD-40 in the same roof within 24 hours. It's a pretty impressive educational lineup we have here. We're really proud of it.
What can I possibly add to that?
Well, he's your guy, Chris. Yeah, Chris is an example of one of the guys that actually, turned us on to Gary, and he thought he would be a great addition to our educational lineup, and I could not agree more.
Again, this is trying to top Will Guidara from last year was a feat in and of itself, and we spent hours just combing through these keynote speakers, and we finally came across Gary Ridge. And I thought that message really resonated with the people that we're trying to support in our industry. And, diverse cultural background. He's got just an expert on leadership, and what he did with that company, bar none, amazing. So he's going to be terrific to listen to.
Be a great story. I'm really looking forward to it.
As am I. Yeah, sounds great. So for the trade shows specifically, for the expo specifically, if I could just turn your attention there quick, can you give us an update on show floor space, number of exhibitors, maybe registrants or expected attendees here?
Yeah, we were just having a conversation about that. It's still a little early for all of it. I mean, car wash guys are notorious for last minute. Uh, so, so last year we added about 30,000 square feet. So we really boosted the size of our show. We're looking at probably close to 2,000 attendees is what we're hoping for right now. And I think the last time we looked, Chris, it was like 53,000 square feet worth of exhibit space. So we're really excited about it. We talk about it every year. We want to outdo the year before. 2024 was a great show for us. I'm just trying to look up some of the numbers. So in 24, we had 420 booths, which is an all-time record for us. We're hoping to eclipse that this year as we do every year. We're excited about, we have a lot of new vendors that are going to be popping up there. So we're excited to see what they bring to the floor. And hopefully between, our target is about 1,800 to 2,000 folks come in and experience what the NRCC is all about.
Absolutely. We just need the weather to cooperate a little bit. No more hurricanes or COVID, and we'll be all set.
So the people can go to nrccshow.com to register, right? And there's all the information on how to register, the hotels that they can book to get a break maybe, and all the information, the schedule of events. It's all there on the website, nrccshow.com, correct?
Yeah, and the two things I want to mention too is for any of the operators, somebody coming, we have two great events. We have a welcoming event, which is put on by ICS, and they've done that since we've started this. And it's a fantastic opportunity. It starts right after the first day of the show ends, so you can come right out of the show. It's right in the lobby of the convention center. You can sit down, have some snacks, and have a cold drink with a couple of your buddies, old or new. And then Simonize does their reception the next evening. It's a fantastic event, open to everybody. You get an opportunity to kind of come in, mingle. And, you had talked about the three pillars of the show. And I think one of the ones that may get not as much play as it should is really the networking opportunity. One of the things I loved about this industry from the day I got into it 30-something years ago was the willingness for people to open up and share and help you with questions. Chris and I have been friends for a long time, and we pick up the phone all the time, say, hey, I got a question. He's got a question. We bounce things off each other. And, and I hear, well, I don't want to tell people and I want to hide. I'm a big believer in a rising tide lift all boats. And there's an awful lot of dirty cars out there, and I think there's plenty for everybody. So the better we do to help support each other in the industry, going to trade shows, learning from people that have been there, done that, that have sort of fallen over the tripwires themselves and help, they want to help you avoid doing that. So I think, you asked before, why do people need to come to the show? That's why they need to come to the show. They won't be disappointed. I promise.
Yeah, and that really can't be overstated. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just going to say that most of those phone calls go to Walt. They don't go from Walt to me. So
he may not look it, but he's been in this industry a lot longer than I have. So he's the senior one in this conversation for sure. His beard is just a little less gray than mine.
It's an excellent point to bring up, and not only fellow operators, but just as a journalist covering this industry as I have for the past 13 years. Few and far between for people who don't have time for me. And in fact, I can't even, I would have to think long and hard for somebody who didn't take one of my calls or answer my interview questions. It really is a remarkable industry. And and it's one of the things for new investors that they come to these shows, they're going to be able to learn so much by going. So for first time attendees or new investors into this space, what do you gentlemen believe are the can't miss sessions or networking opportunities on the schedule this year?
How long is this podcast?
As long as you'd like.
Well,
in all honesty, everything, right, Chris?
Everything. But, the key ones are some of the ones Walt just listed. I mean, that's the Simonize, the event, the ICS event. They're all great. I mean, you're getting out there. It's a very laid back atmosphere, but it's networking. It's talking with people, other industry operators. The seminars are bar none this year. I mean, I can't think of anything that would be amiss here.
Yeah, I think the early bird program for new investors is a must. Get up early, have a cup of coffee and a bagel, and listen to real world operators about the real world problems that they face. I think that's always been one of my favorites, kind of an open forum, hosted by John Shelby from New England. He does a fantastic job. I mean, it's going to be great. The other one is the panel of experts. And I'm not mistaken, I think it's on the last day, just to get a sense of where the industry is going. We're changing, we're evolving, we're growing. And I think having the opportunity to have some industry titans up there with their perspective could really help new investors about, which direction do I go? What's the future of this business really look like?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be a guest panelist at that.
You are. That's why I missed you. A little shameless plug.
I appreciate it. Thank you. This industry, obviously, Chris, you mentioned to me before we hit record, your family's been in it since the late 70s, if I'm not mistaken. And
Correct.
Walt, I know Hoffman Carwash, where you're at, has a long history serving the Albany area, upstate New York. So these, as you both know, and I don't have to tell you, the industry is changing so much in this past decade or so, between customer trends, the technology coming into the space, private equity, large you just name it, and it's changing so much. So how do you envision NRCC evolving over the next few years to stay ahead of operator needs and industry trends?
Well, as Walt said earlier, we're a full volunteer board, and we grab industry leaders from, 5 different markets and put our heads together every year. We go to the people that are at the show, the vendors, the exhibitors, everybody, and the attendees, and we ask them for feedback at every show. And we constantly are trying to better ourselves every year. And I think every year it does get a little bit better, and we're constantly trying to hone our craft. And that's the end goal, is how do we keep expanding what we're doing and elevating the bar year after year.
Yeah, that's Chris hit it right on the head. That's been our mission since we started this thing way back in, Rhode Island 30 some years ago, 35 or 36 years ago. And our mission has always been to deliver a really good program to both vendors, manufacturers, suppliers, and operators, and really look at it as a partnership. So we reach out to, everybody on both sides of the aisle, if you will. We're a little bit bipartisan, if you will, and trying to get, trying to stay in front of all of it. And when you have operators that are really engaged in manufacturers, suppliers, and vendors are really engaged in the industry, they know what's coming down the pipe. And we try and stay ahead of it to the best of our ability. And one of the things I think we do a really great job of is listening. We talk to vendors and operators on the show floor. We send out surveys afterwards. We're planning on having some meetings with some key vendors and suppliers and at the show this year, say, hey, what can we do to get better? I mean, we're constantly looking to push the envelope, and we'll start planning for 26 before 25 is over. We'll literally sit in a room minutes after the show floor closes while it's fresh in our mind and kind of go through, what do we do well? Where can we improve? And we're constantly pushing ourselves to be better. So just like in our businesses, we're constantly looking for that edge, the next big thing. And we're doing the same thing with the NRCC.
All right. I'm looking forward to the event, this can't miss event, this NRCC 2025, scheduled for October 6th through 8th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. As I mentioned before, the website is nrccshow.com to register and find out all the information you need to know. Chris and Walt, it was great seeing you, and I look forward to seeing you at the event in October.
Rich, thanks for having us. I look forward to seeing you on the panel.
Yes, thank you.